Hello friends, my name is Vishal. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Learn Statistics from Experts. In this channel, you will learn about Stata, about SPSS, Python, R, Tableau, Power BI, and various other things which is related to, analyzing or visualizing data. And it will also include some sessions, some videos on GIS mapping. So thank you so much. Please do follow my channel, subscribe to my channel. When we work with any kind of data, whether it is, through some process or through some survey, field data collection, it is always important because we collect these data through some kind of mechanism. It could be through some kind of MIS, management information system, or it could be some kind of questionnaire. Which is maybe a paper survey, which could be even a Google form or Microsoft form, or through any other KPI, electronic data collection process, could be Survey CTO or Kobo Toolbox, which are ODK based platforms, or even any other thing. There are different types of platforms, so people can actually use anything for data collection. Next step, which is actually needed for working with those data, is actually download the raw data, import it in the software or tool in which you want to analyze it. In this case, we are talking about a Stata. So you take the raw data, you actually import it in Stata, and then what? You certainly need, because when you look at the data, you will mostly see there are certain question numbers like Q1, Q2, Q3, or even values 1, 2, 3, 4, or 99 or something like that. Will be there because this is the way you collect your survey data. It's all coded to some values, or even the even the variable name also are like given a very short name while collecting the data. It is like if question one is something, you write q1 as the variable name, or anything, depending on actually your requirement. So what is important for us is actually how do we use this data. How do we code variables, or how do we code values actually for any kind of analysis later, for tabulation purpose, for creating graph, for any kind of statistical analysis. It could be logistic regression or anything. You certainly need to understand, what is that variable, what are the values saying actually in that particular variable, and the properties of that variable. So there is a lot actually which is needed to prepare the data to take it to next step. In this video, we will talk about leveling variables and values in Stata in a step-by-step manner. I'll try to show you, the example data set. Also, data set, which is collected through some survey from my prior work. So, try to keep this brief so that it is helpful for you to, follow what I have done. So let's start with I mean the sample data set, which is given by uh, Stata itself, auto.dta. We'll start with this. It's always a good practice to create a do file for our session, because it ensures that whatever work we do is reproducible and easy to reference later. So for easy referencing, फिर दोबारा काम करने में आसानी के लिए, I think it's all very helpful to work with a do file. So let's start with opening this auto.dta file, and then see what we can do with this variable. Yeah, let me check in which directory we are currently in, so that otherwise we'll have to set up the working directory. uh, yeah, in this particular directory, we have auto.dta file, so I can use And you can, I think it's always good practice to write clear, but right now I think there is nothing in the memory, so there's no need, but I mean I'm still writing it here. So now the auto.dta is loaded here, and we can see I mean there are different type of variable, and all those variables are also have labels. So what we'll do, we'll create another variable from one of these variable and try to see, I mean, what happens. Yeah. So what we will do, I mean, we will so let's create a new price variable. So I mean, when we look at the price in the given data auto.dta, let's see, I mean, what are the values which are given. So we can see that, I mean, there are different values starting from 3291 to 15,906. I assume, I mean, all these values are in dollars. So these are the for 74 car makes. These are the price which are given. So what we'll do, we'll create a new variable which will be price category. So let's generate a new variable price category. So to generate a new variable, what we'll do, we'll write this command generate price cat is equal to missing value. In Stata, it is very important that while naming a variable, there can't be any gap. So we have to use underscore. But while giving a value label or variable label, we can actually write I mean, whatever. I mean, so we can actually give a space or put those in quotes. So let's generate a new variable. You can see that, I mean, a new variable has been created here, which is price underscore cat, and let's see what all is there in this particular variable. I just try to tabulate it here. So you can see, I mean, this particular variable have no observations right now because we just created a new variable with all missing values. What we will do, we will, I mean, assign this new variable certain values based on the original value variable price. So as we discussed that, I mean, below 5,000 or up to 5,000 value will be 1, and above 5,000 value will be 2. So let's replace, so replace price underscore cat is equal to 1 if price is less than equal to 5,000. Let's run this command. So you can see that, I mean, 37 values in the new variable have now changed. Tabulate this variable. I've still not given a variable label to this, so we'll also give. So you can see that, I mean, earlier there were I mean 74 missing values and no observation. Now, I mean, there is a value 1 with 37 this thing. We'll also give value 2 to all those cases in which price is greater than 5,000. So now remaining 37 have also changed. We can actually also look at the price. So you can see, I mean, 37 cases have value 1 which is less than equal to 5,000, and then 37 cases have value which is above 5,000. So now what we need to do is also give a label to this variable and also label to the value. So what we'll do, we'll give label to this variable. We can directly do from variable manager also, but let's write a command here itself. Okay, so I have named this variable price underscore cat is as price category. So you can see that, I mean, now there is a variable label here. but these values are still 1 and 2. We also need to define, we can see, I mean, these values are still 1 and 2. Okay, but variable level is now price category. So let's write the appropriate command. I think in Stata it is very important. I mean, we need to define the label first before actually assigning it. So let's define the value label. Level define price underscore label, 1 is below 5,000 and 2 is above. So I have defined this new label, which is price underscore level. Yeah, and what we will do, we'll assign this to newly created variable. So what we will do, level, write this command, level value price underscore cat. So we want to give this price underscore cat value as price underscore level, which is the level that we have defined. So we run this. Now when we tabulate, we can see that, I mean, 1 have and 2 have been replaced by two categories, below $5,000 and above $5,000. We can also do same thing from variable manager. When we look at the variable manager, we go to variable manager, we go to price category, and then we can actually, write the price category, and whatever name when we want, we can change it here itself, and then whatever level we want, I have given price underscore level here. So we can actually manage this. We can give a new variable level, I mean, if at all, I mean, we want, and then right, so we can actually, directly do this naming of variable as well as value through the variable manager option. Show you a different example, because I mean, before that, I mean, I think you need to understand, I mean, how does the survey system work. So what we'll do, we'll open a folder. You can see, I mean, this is the work which I have done in past, where, I mean, we did a huge survey to collect information from mothers. This was a survey on nutrition. So this particular age group was actually data collected from mothers of children 6 to 23 months. Yeah. Uh, this is the questionnaire which was used. So you can see that, I mean, it's a bilingual questionnaire in Hindi, where, I mean, you can see that this is the variable. For example, this is the question number ID2, which is actually a district code. Yeah, and then these are the places. So these are the two codes given here. Similarly, I mean, if you go to any question, this SQ1, which is screening questions here, I mean, to find out, I mean, if the household have any children below 6 months or 6 to 23 months. So these are the questions actually which are there. I mean, so and these are the value codes. So when you collect data in a survey, I mean, you always give a name to the question, then details of that question, and then codes. And these codes are called value codes. So when you actually have the raw data in hand, it will show as 1 2 3 4 5 6, or maybe even whatever categories that you have for that particular question. So your raw data will have actually that kind of information. Let's see, I mean, what exactly or how exactly the raw data has collected this. So um, let's open the Excel file where, I mean, we have the raw data. So it is the same survey, I mean, collected from several mothers, like it's almost 2478 cases are here. So, And you can see that, I mean, it's a very raw data, which is actually coming from one electronic survey. I mean, in this case, I mean, we used Kobo toolbox for collecting the data. And then there are different thing actually which are written here, like ID1, ID2, ID3, ID4. We don't know, I mean, what exactly is this. I mean, we certainly need to, before using this, we certainly need to label these variables and also values within this. I mean, whatever values are there, I mean, we need to actually also label them properly. So that, I mean, this data can be used for any letter analysis or tabulation purpose. There are certain questions where, I mean, you have multiple answers, so you will have this kind of responses. I mean, those are actually further broken. I mean, we can do it in Stata itself, but I mean, Kobo has thankfully, you know, broken all the multiple choices into different variables. So you can see, I mean, different fields here. So this is a very raw data, but right now, looking at the questionnaire, looking at the raw data, we need to come up with a code book. We need to come up with some kind of I mean, do file, so that these variables may be coded. So what? So let's open this Excel file, or maybe, yeah, let's open this Excel file in Stata and see, I mean, how do we, you know, work with this. So what I'll do, I'll clear my memory here, and then file, uh, open, and we are in the same directory. So let's open the, sorry, not, because we want to import an Excel file. So file, import Excel spreadsheet, browse, then we want to import this particular raw data file, open. Let's see, I mean, what comes next. So I mean, if there are multiple worksheet in this Excel file, it will ask, it will give those lists. But right now, I mean, in this particular sheet, there was only one worksheet, so there are only, so which is by default. And then import first row as variable name. I mean, you can see that if you click that, it will make. If you don't click, it will give variable name in the first row. If you click it, it will make them all as the variable name. Yeah. And it is up to you whether you want to import this as a string, or whether you want in whatever form. I'll just keep it as is. And then, since there are actually different variables where, I mean, cases are different, like because, I mean, here RP2, RP6, so I'll preserve this. I'll not make them lower or upper. I'll just preserve the cases. So I have chosen that option here, and then I'll import this data file here in Stata. So right now, the data file with 1280 variables and 2477 observations have been imported. And you can see, I mean, there's no variable label in this one. Yeah. So what I have done next is actually created a do file, so that, I mean, and this do file is in line with my questionnaire, so that, I mean, I can label all the variables as it is given in the questionnaire which I had shown earlier. So you can see that, I mean, these are different variable, ID1, ID2, ID3, and then I have given them some kind of label, which is actually, of course, so so this is how, I mean, I have labeled all the variables in this particular data file. We can actually run everything in one go, or we can select, let's see, I mean, what happens. I mean, if there is any kind of error, it will show in the while running. So what I'll do, I'll run this. and see. So we can see that all the variables are now coded, because see, there were actually other multiple response and other thing also. So whichever actually for whichever question I had given some kind of variable level, it is actually given them that kind of name. Yeah, there are certain error also. We'll see what exactly is those. But you can see that our do file has worked, and it has actually coded all the variables. Okay, there are some source not found, otherwise everything else was fine. So it's okay for the purpose. Yeah. um so now next what we'll do, we'll so this is how we have actually loaded. Now we'll see. um so what we'll do, we'll go to data and then variable manager. And for example, id1 is state, id2, id3. So we can actually choose these question and then see as per the questionnaire what are the values actually which are already there. Yeah. And you can actually label that. You can actually see the type of the variable, string, or you can then give value label, if it is needed. If it's a numeric variable, you can actually always give right now everything is has imported, so you need to de-string and then make so that we can actually give value label in this particular case. So I'll open the file which I have already coded. File, open. So in this case, these variables have been properly coded. When we open the variable manager data, variable manager, and look at any variable, so you can see that now the property is either integer or a string, or depending on actually the questions, those are already there. So let's so this way you can actually in this particular case, yeah, value label is yes, no. So or there's a list which I have already created. Whichever is actually applicable for a particular question, I have kind of tagged. So this way you can name the variable. You can actually find what kind of variable it is, the property of it, and then if what kind of values which are actually, and we can actually always add more. So this is actually you can see that this age are, if you click it, it has 1 2 3 4 5, which is actually different, 5 different values. You can actually always drop a particular label, create a new one, or maybe edit the existing label as per the requirement. In this particular case, cf1 variable 11 12 13 14, whatever values are there, those have been coded here. So this is how actually you can label your variables and link it with the appropriate question, because you need to create a list first and then attach that list with the existing variable. And if there is any note you want to give. Because it's a multiple response question, so it is A B C D. But let's see what does so you can see that in EIBF6 this particular variable variable label is given, and then whatever values are there, we can actually see this variable or any other variable in the data set that we have in the background. So whatever actually blue thing which is actually already coded and given some kind of very value labels, and then the red ones are string. So this is how you can actually play with manage your data. I hope this is clear. So let's quickly summarize what we actually discussed during this session. I said, we can actually, it's always better to create a do file for our session, because it is very helpful for us to, work. If you want to work with the same data or want to remember, what exactly we did last time. So things are reproducible actually and easy to reference later. Uh, we worked on renaming a variable. We worked with labeling different variable. Um, I discussed that variable names cannot have a space, but value labels can include, or even the variable labels can actually, variable name cannot have a space, but variable labels can include a space. So we enclose them in the quotation marks. Label appears in output table and graph, making your work easier to understand. So in this particular case, variable label was it described what the variable represent, and the value label assign readable categories to numeric values, which we discussed with different other question. I showed you example of EIBF 5 or 6. So in this example, a variable has been created. There is a price value in the auto data which is given, and then based on actually the value of car price, whether it is below $5,000 or above $5,000, two categories are created. So gen price underscore cat is equal to missing value. This is how we create a new variable, and then based on the existing variable which is actually price in the data set, we assign value in the newly created variable. Because in the beginning, we created everything is missing, but when we replace price underscore cat is equal to 1 if price is less than equal to 5,000 rupee, so it replaces price, and also 2 if it is greater. So there are two categories, 1 and 2, which have been created in this newly created variable. Then what is done actually, we have given value labels to those 1 and 2. So 1 is equal to below $5,000 and 2 is equal to above $1,000. Because there is a level value price cat level. So this is the command actually which is given, and then accordingly value have been given. We can also create a string categorical variable, like in this case we have created a string price cat variable. This double quote means variable is a string, because in the earlier one we gave missing value, and then we actually assign replace value, if price is less than equal to 5,000 or greater than 5,000. So we have created a string variable instead of the numeric one in the earlier example. So in the summary, we discuss about renaming the variable. We, learned, how do we rename a variable? How do we add a variable label? How do we generate a new variable? How do we categorize with condition? How do we define value labels? And how do we assign labels to variable? So I hope have understood I mean, uh, how do we work with assigning, giving the value labels or variable label, and this is helpful. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And please, if you like or if you have any comments, please do write those comments, and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.